A few videos ago, I showed you my new kitchen toy, which is a induction burner that is separate from the gas stove that I have, and I asked if you guys wanted to see me cook some things, and I actually had some people say, yeah, they wanted to see what kind of things I make in the RV. And so that is what we're going to do right now. And as some of you know, anytime you make spaghetti, you gotta have some wine. Cheers. Okay. So tonight what I'm going to make is I'm going to make some spaghetti. And when I brown ground beef or ground turkey, I actually try to make extra. So cook once, eat twice. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. So tonight I've already chopped up some onions, and I'm going to plug in our handy dandy induction stove. If you want to come around here, I'm going to show you where I keep my pots and pans. Most people keep trash cans under their sink, but I actually keep all my pans in this nice little rack under here, so I can just grab out the size I need. So there's a little secret for you. You don't have to have a trash can under the sink. So I'm going to go ahead and brown up the onions and then get the meat in the pan. We're going to get some oil in the pan. This is just some olive oil. I like to keep my olive oil and vegetable oil in easy squeeze bottles with a nice lid. And that just goes back behind the stove for easy reach. So I have the induction cooktop on P7. And we're going to get that nice and sizzly. And you might think this isn't very much spaghetti, but I'm not just making spaghetti. I've got zucchini. So we're actually making healthier spaghetti, because that's what I try to do. We try to eat as healthy as we can while still enjoying our meals. So let's get the sizzle of the onions in there. See if I can do this one-handed. My cameraman went and took the dog out for a walk. Yeah. All right, and now I have, so that's a half an onion I put in. Now I have 2 pounds of ground beef, some extra lean and some lean. We'll put that in. That's all defrosted. Usually I try to do a pound of ground beef and a pound of ground turkey, but I didn't have any ground turkey, so ground beef and ground beef is what it is. Ooh, that was close. Then I got my little handy dandy Pampered Chef little masher. Splits that up nicely. So we'll get this all browned up. Okay, we have the ground beef almost done, and I used mostly extra lean ground beef, but there is a little bit of fat in here. So what I'm going to do, instead of wasting more dishes, is I'm just going to drain it with some paper towels. So I just take it, push all the beef to one side, and I just use this to blot up the fat. And that's a good way to, especially when it's lean, you don't have a whole lot, you don't have to pour it out or anything. But it works good. And just, spill some stuff, but it's fine. And then I just usually put it in the sink to cool and call it good. So, we have our ground beef browned, and now I'm going to take half of it and put it in a container, and we might have tacos, or I might freeze it for another day, but that's what I like to do. Cook once, eat twice. And turn that heat down a little bit. And this is just unseasoned ground beef. Just onion and ground beef and a little oil. Okay. Cheers. It's the cheap spices. We got Italian seasoning, garlic powder, and great value onion powder. And I don't measure things, so we're just gonna put her on in. Looks good. I take the lid off of this. Probably like 2-3 teaspoons. 2-3 teaspoons of that. A little bit of salt. You can always add more salt later. And I don't use any fancy sauce. It's literally great value sauce because I like to doctor it up. My secret. A little bit of wine in the sauce. Shake it up. Put it right in. And then you got to cook the wine flavor out of it. But I like to save dishes. So being that we live in our motorhome, and I don't like to do dishes, I mean, I do dishes by hand. I'm going to take a little bit of spaghetti, and that's all we're going to use. Just a little bit. And I'm going to do the sacrilege thing and cut it in half. And you put her right in there. It's my house. I can spill on the counter and put it in there because I'm not feeding anybody but us. I wouldn't do that if I was feeding other people. And then here's what you want to do. You want to add, I just added about that much water. Again, shake it up. Like I said, I don't measure anything. And then we have the spaghetti in here, and you can kind of get it in there under the water, right? Come back down here, get my lid. I put my lid right on. I'm going to turn up that heat, and we're going to let it come to a simmer, and then I'll stir it around a little bit, and we're going to cook the noodles right in the sauce. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, so it does take a little bit longer, but I'm going to lift the lid off, and I've stirred it a couple of times. So, just going to stir it again. And then if it's still a little soupy, if it's still too runny or too soupy, I actually had a half a can of tomato paste in the freezer that I kind of defrosted. So I'm just going to add a little spoonful of tomato paste right in there to give that bargain pasta sauce a little bit more depth of flavor. Because I like it to be pretty tomatoey and yummy. You just stir that around. And then I keep it uncovered, and then it absorbs, or it evaporates some of the moisture and makes it a little thicker. Okay, so I've got the sauce and noodles all pretty much done. I've got it turned down to 1, and now it's time for the zucchini. So I just cut the ends off and let the dogs have that one. Let's see if Laurel wants it. She's looking for it. She's like, ooh. She's not so sure about that. I don't usually just leave things on the floor, but I only had one. It's fine. Okay, so I don't know if you've ever seen this little tool. It's actually called a spiralizer. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to the spaghetti and basically let it sit. If you've noticed, I do have another pan heating up, and that is for garlic bread. So I'm just letting it heat up. But first, spiralizing. So you just take that, and it makes the zucchini into little noodle-like spaghetti strips. It's hard to do it. I'm doing it kind of backwards, but I'm doing it for you. So sometimes I'll take it out, kind of fix it, shake it. Let me show you kind of how long it gets, and then I just cut it out so it gives it a good size of spiral. Then I'll turn it around, use the fresh edge, get it started, make nice little zucchini noodles. And there's where the healthy part goes. And when I put this in there, you don't really have to cook it or anything, you just kind of heat it through. And then a lot of times I just don't use the whole zucchini, but that's okay. But I'll get that second one done. But first, let's put some garlic bread in. I got some butter mixed with some Johnny's garlic spread seasoning. This stuff is good. So we'll do that. I'll cover the other side with some butter, get the rest of this, and then we'll be ready to eat. Okay, well, moment of truth. The garlic bread's done. And here is the spaghetti. So we'll get this dished up, and then we're going to eat. Apparently the chefs, like the real chefs, they like twist the pasta and make it all, present it all pretty. I'm just going to serve it. I'll try. Let's see. Woo-hoo. There's that. And then, with that garlic bread. Put it on the side there. And because I put the zucchini in, I didn't feel like I had to make a salad. So there we go. A little Parmesan cheese, a little shaved, make it all pretty. Extra Parmesan cheese because it's delicious. Bon appetit.